So friends, so far we have learnt how to calculate cost of control. Now let us go to the next very important topic, dividends. So probably 90% of the cases I can say there will be no question without involvement of dividends. So they'll say dividend out of pre-acquisition profits, dividend out of post-acquisition profits, and in dividend some rectification of error. All these things will be there. Now let us see what this dividend is. Ignore for the time being, forget that you are studying consolidation. In general, what is dividend? In general, what is dividend? Can I say that dividend is return on investment, that is income to the investor. Dividend is return on investment, that is income to the investor. So point number one, Mr. A invested in shares of X Limited. Cost of investment is equal to 10 lakhs. Okay, Mr. A invested in shares of X Limited. Cost of investment is 10 lakhs. Now you tell me what is the journal entry you pass? You pass the journal entry investment in the books of Mr. A, investment in shares of X Limited account debit 10 lakhs to bank account 10 lakhs. So is this clear? Is there any confusion in this? You bought shares, you are writing investment account debit to bank account. Simple. Subsequently, imagine X Limited declared dividends and Mr. A received a dividend of rupees 1 lakh. Maybe after 1 year, X Limited declared dividends and Mr. A received a dividend of rupees 1 lakh. So what is the journal entry? What is the journal entry Mr. A will pass in his books? We are thinking only from the point of view of investor. Why? Because in consolidation, holding company is the investor, no? So I want you to take the shoes of, step into the shoes of the investor. So in the books of investor, what is the journal entry? Can I say I received dividend? So I write the journal entry, bank account debit 1 lakh to dividend income 1 lakh. Then what will you do? This dividend income dividend received should be taken to P&L. So you'll write in P&L, in your P&L, you write by dividend income, no? By dividend income 1 lakh. So how this will happen? Only when you transfer this dividend income to P&L. So the next journal entry you write is dividend income account debit to profit and loss account 1 lakh, 1 lakh. This is what the journal entry you pass. So in your P&L account, by dividend income 1 lakh rupees. So this is normal accounting. So try to understand step 1, A invested money in X Limited. Step 2, X Limited declared dividend. X received dividend and X transfer. Mr. A received dividend and he transferred that to P&L account. So just read and try to understand this example. Is there anything wrong in this example? Nothing wrong in this accounting. Everything is correct in this accounting. If and only if this dividend income is a revenue profit. So here dividend income is treated as revenue profit. So this is revenue profit or revenue income. What if the dividend income is capital income? What if this dividend is capital income? How dividend becomes capital income? Now look here. This is timeline. Okay. So this is 1/4/2019. This is 31/3 2020. Okay, now here on 1/5/2020, Mr. A bought shares worth rupees 10 lakhs in X Limited. Same example, I am giving you some dates. Okay, so here you passed the journal entry. Investment account debit to bank 10 lakhs. Now here the AGM happened. When, say for example, 10/6/2020 dividend declared. Now this dividend belongs to this financial year. Dividend of 2019-20 is announced after the balance sheet date. Obviously, no. Any company will declare a dividend only after the balance sheet date, no. So the financial year is over. Financial statements are prepared. CFO analyzed the financial statements. He is happy about the performance of the company. He recommended board of directors that you can declare dividend. Board of directors declared dividend. So here, whatever the dividend is declared, that belongs to this period when Mr. A is not the legal shareholder. Mr. A legally is not the shareholder for the period. So here Mr. A received excuse me. So Mr. A received dividend, but not for the period when he is the owner of the shares. So this is pre-acquisition dividend, no? Mr. A received dividend of rupees 1.5 lakhs relating to his pre-acquisition period. That is where he is not the owner of shares. He is not the owner of those shares. Don't you think it is something similar to profit prior to incorporation or profit prior to your acquisition of something? My dear friend, this is capital profit. This is capital profit. So this dividend received is capital profit. What is CP? Capital profit. Now look here. He invested money here, no? Here if dividend comes, it is revenue profit. Here pertaining to this period, if dividend comes, it is capital profit. As simple as that. Now you understand the concept very clearly. So you invested money. Subsequently you received dividend belonging to the next period where you are the owner. Simple. Try to remember the rule. Earned and received, it will be revenue profit. Not earned but received, capital profit. What is the difference between dividend which is revenue profit and dividend which is capital profit? So if the company pays dividend, imagine for this period, I earned that. Why? Because I am the shareholder. I invested money. But when the company is paying dividend for this period, I did not earn it because that time I am not the investor. So it is something like, something is falling from the sky. Something is falling from the sky. So my profits are coming just like that. I did not earn them. So that is a capital profit. If it is capital profit, this cannot be taken to P&L account. Capital profits can't be taken to P&L account because P&L account is for revenue profits. This is a capital profit. Now, do you remember the rule? Even accounting standard 13 says the same thing. So if any dividend is received for the period where the investor is not the actual investor, for pre-acquisition period, if you receive any dividend, treat it as a capital profit, and this capital profit should be reduced from the cost of investment. So in this case, this 1,50,000 rupees is there, no? This 1,50,000 rupees, you will write bank account debit 1,50,000 to dividends received. You can't write dividend income. Dividends received 1,50,000. But because it is capital profit, the second journal entry is very interesting. Dividends received account debit 1,50,000 to investment in X Limited, investment in shares of X Limited, 1,50,000 being dividends received relating to pre-acquisition period are credited to investment account since they are capital profits. This is correct accounting. So simple. Now try to understand it like this. Dividends. From this I draw a diagram to arrow marks down. Okay. Post acquisition. That means after you bought shares, you earned. Post acquisition, these are revenue profits. What to do? Take it to credit P&L account. What is the journal entry? Bank account debit to dividends received, or you can write dividend income also, and then you write dividend received account debit to P&L. So effectively what happened? You received dividend, bank debited, you took it to income, P&L credited. That's it. You understand? So effectively when dividend received gets cancelled, the net entry will be bank account debit to P&L. No, this is the treatment. Pre-acquisition, this is capital in nature. That means you did not earn it, you received it. You did not earn it, you received it. So credit investment account. So bank account debit to dividend received. Dividend received account debit to investment account. Now what happens, the actual investment is, gross investment is 10 lakhs minus pre-acquisition dividend is 1.5 lakhs. When you reduce, 8.5 lakhs is your net cost of investment. Your net investment in X Limited is 8.50 only. Okay, to remember this, see, this is pretty simple, okay? When I have explained everything like this, I believe this is pretty simple now. Still, to keep it in your memory, to make it more simple, I'll give you one small example, okay? I have one old car. You bought car from me. I have one old car. You bought car from me. Okay. You gave me 1 lakh rupees. Okay. What is the cost of the car? 1 lakh. What is the cost of the car? 1 lakh. Now you started negotiating. Pawan sir, give this for 98,000, give this for 99,000, give this for 92,000. Please some discount, Pawan sir. I told you, bro, yesterday I have paid insurance renewal premium 8,000 rupees. Yesterday I have paid insurance premium 8,000 rupees. Out of 365 days, 1 day expired and your insurance is valid for next 1 year. 364 days you enjoy the benefit. 364 days you enjoy the benefit. Now you feel like, though I am paying 1 lakh rupees to Pavan towards purchase of car, actually car is costing me only 92,000, because if I purchase it today, tomorrow I have to pay insurance, no? So because Pavan has paid insurance and I enjoy the benefit. Did I pay insurance? No. Have you paid insurance? No. But will you enjoy the benefit? Yes. That is capital. So you are feeling like, okay, now 8,000 rupees worth benefit I am enjoying for the next 1 year. So the car is bought for 92,000 rupees only. So in your mind, you are writing like this: cost of the car, I have paid 1 lakh minus some capital natured profit. Benefit is derived by me. The fair value is 8,000. So net investment in car is only and only 92,000. That is what this accounting is. So similarly, you came to me and you said that, Pavan sir, you have Reliance Industry shares, no, 10 lakh rupees, will you sell? Okay, so I said, yes, I have these many number of Reliance shares, lelo. Then you asked, you don't know that it is 10 lakhs. You asked, Pavan sir, what is the value? I said 10 lakhs. Then you asked me, Pavan sir, give it for 9,50,000. Give it for 9 lakhs. Give it for 8,75,000. Please give some discount. Now see, shares are bought and sold at market price. You and I cannot negotiate and buy shares. Only for the sake of example I am telling you. Then I told you, bro, listen. There is a very strong market information that Reliance is going to declare huge dividend this year. You will be receiving 1,50,000 rupees of dividend. If you buy these shares from me, you will be receiving 1,50,000. Now you are like, Pavan sir, I want these shares. So you gave 10 lakh rupees to me. You bought 10 lakh rupees worth of shares, and you know that 1,50,000 rupees of dividends will be credited to your bank account within few days. But actually, for that 1 year for which the Reliance Industries is paying you dividend, you were not the legal owner, but still you are receiving it. So it is a capital profit. So simple. Read the diagram. Dividends out of post acquisition, revenue in nature, credit P&L, bank account debit to dividend received account debit to P&L. Pre-acquisition, it is capital in nature. So you have to credit investment account, bank account debit to dividend received to investment. Gross investment XXX minus pre-acquisition dividend XXX, net investment XXX. Now, previously we used to write A, investment in shares of subsidiary company. From next problem onwards, we will extend it. Under A, investment, underline, small 1, gross investment. B, dividends received out of pre-acquisition profits. C, or small 3, net investment is equal to gross investment minus dividends. So here we bring this 3 steps. These 3 steps, we'll put it there. You understand? Simple concept. You understand? So from this, we compare that with, what is the share in net assets we are getting to calculate goodwill or capital reserve. So Pavan sir, this seems to be pretty simple, but ICAI will not allow you if you are feeling that it is this simple. They will put a twist here. What they do, dividend received out of pre-acquisition profits credited to P&L. So, what is the situation? This. What they have done? This. Now you will say, Pavan sir, this is error. Now we need to rectify the error. So, now again baby steps. Situation 1, dividend out of post-acquisition profits. This is the accounting treatment. Clear? 2, dividend out of pre-acquisition profits. This is the accounting treatment. Clear? Summary sheet. This is the summary. This is clear. Now, situation 3. Dividend out of pre-acquisition profits by mistake credited to P&L account by the company. How to do that? Okay. So, third situation. Now put the heading rectification of error. What is this? Dividend received by holding company. Dividend received by holding company out of pre-acquisition profits. Out of pre-acquisition profits. Wrongly. This wrongly word they might not give you in the question also. You have to understand it. Wrongly credited to P&L. Wrongly credited to P&L. That means what they have done? What is the accounting done? 1. Bank account debit to dividend received. 2. Dividend received to P&L. Okay. So what is the mistake? Instead of reducing the amount of investment, instead of reducing the amount of investment, which is correct accounting, P&L is credited, which is wrong accounting. So what is this? This is correct. What is this? This is wrong. Now rectification entry will pass. What is the rectification entry? Rectification entry. So P&L has a wrong credit. To cancel that, I will debit it. P&L has a wrong credit, isn't it? So to cancel that, I'll give debit. P&L account debit. Investment balance should be reduced. Investment is asset account. To reduce asset account, what are we supposed to do? Credit. P&L account debit to investment account. This is rectification entry. So in this, what happened? Wrong credit to P&L rectified. Wrong credit to P&L rectified. Also, investment cost reduced. Typically, these are the, this, I have seen majority of problems will have this kind of, rectification entry. Majority. So let us see some problems so that you understand what this is. So we'll go to ICI study material and we'll see some problems with this rectification so that you understand it. Okay, this is a very, very, very interesting and important question. Illustration 3. Okay, so start reading the question. Okay, if you have notes or textbook, note this as very important model. Very, very important model. Or shall we do a small problem and then come to this big problem? Illustration 2 is a small problem, same concept. We'll complete illustration 2 and then we'll come to illustration 3. No problem. Okay. Problem number 2. XYZ Limited purchased 80% shares of ABC Limited on 1st Jan 2016. Okay. So, for 1,40,000. What is your investment cost? 1,40,000. What is your stake? 80%. The issued capital of ABC Limited on 1st Jan 2016 was 1 lakh and the balance in P&L account is 60,000. Very good. During the year ended 31st March, ABC Limited earned a profit of 20,000 and at the end of the year declared and paid a dividend of 15,000. I'll tell you one simple working note or exercise to, analyze the situation very clearly. Say this is what is the date given? 1/1/2016. 1/1/16. What is this? Last day? 31/3/2016. So this is DOA. This is DOC. What is DOA? Date of acquisition. What is DOC? Date of consolidation. Okay, so on this date, paid. How much? You paid 1,40,000. Acquired. How much of stake? 70%, 80%. 80%. Okay, now during this period, subsidiary earned 20,000. Out of this 20,000, paid dividend. How much of the dividend is paid? 15,000. So, on this day, I am preparing consolidated financial statements. When I am preparing consolidated financial statements on 31/12/2016, this dividend, how much of dividend I will receive? Total dividend paid is 15,000. Out of that 15,000, 80% is mine. So if I own 80% of company, I receive 80% of dividends. No. So what is the dividend received by subsidiary company? Dividend received by subsidiary company is, holding company is, dividend received by holding company is 15,000 into 80%, that is equal to 12,000. Can I say this is out of, is it out of pre-acquisition profit? No. They earned during the year 20,000. Out of that they paid. So it is out of post-acquisition reserves, post-acquisition profits. If it is post-acquisition profits, what is the treatment? Therefore, credit P&L account. So, what is the journal entry you write? Bank account debit in the books of holding company. Remember, in the whole consolidation, accounting is done in the books of holding company because subsidiary company will not prepare consolidated financial statements. No. So, always you are holding company. From the company, holding company point of view, you will do accounting. Sometimes we do some adjustments in subsidiary company books only for accounting policies, depreciation rates, etc., etc., FIFO, LIFO changes, this kind of some rectification error, rectification of mistakes, or uniformity, alignment of accounting policies we do in subsidiary company books. But that is only 1% of consolidation procedures. 99% we are thinking from the point of view of the parent company, holding company. So holding company, when they received dividend, bank account debit 12,000 to dividend received 12,000. Then what is the second entry? Dividend received 12,000. Dividend received debit 12,000 to P&L account. Sometimes, to save time, you can write a journal entry, bank account debit to P&L. You can write journal entry, bank account debit to P&L, 12,000, 12,000. Now Chintu will get a doubt. Sare, if I write like that, will ICI give marks? Now when you write two entries, ICI will write one entry in the book. Now look here, they write only one entry, bank account debit to P&L. But if you write this entry, technically you could lose marks. So you have to write two entries like this only. You understand? Got it? You understand? So, this is the accounting. So my dear friends, do you understand this diagram? Do you understand this analysis? Do you understand this accounting treatment? Isn't this simple? Isn't this simple? So now, hope you copied the answer. Now let us go back to the question what they are asking. Okay, go back to the question. What they are asking. Show by an entry how the dividend should be recorded in the books of XYZ Limited. Ho gaya. That already we have done. Then what is the amount of minority interest? Ta-da! Pawan sir, we don't know what is minority interest. Simple. Out of 100 rupees of subsidiary company, what is mine? 80%. It is given in the question. So close your eyes. 20% belongs to outsider, no? That is minority interest. On 1st Jan 2016 and 31st December 2016. Okay, we'll do that. Also, please check whether there should be any goodwill or capital reserve on the date of acquisition. So they're asking you journal entry. That already we have done. Goodwill or capital reserve. We'll do minority interest on the beginning day, date of acquisition, on the ending day, date of consolidation. Seems to be a simple question, but actually little detailed. Okay, it has some good concepts also. So now let us calculate goodwill or capital reserve. Okay, let us calculate calculation of cost of control. A, investment. Now tell me one thing, from this investment, should I reduce dividend? No. Why? Because dividend is received out of post-acquisition profits. If it is pre-acquisition profit, then we'll subtract. Now why will I subtract? So I'll take whatever the actual amount is. What is the amount invested? 1,40,000. Investment 1,40,000. B, share, holding company's share. Holding company is XYZ here. XYZ Limited's share in the net assets of subsidiary company. Okay. Now remember one thing, this cost of control calculation, no, we do on date of acquisition. Cost of control we do on date of acquisition. Okay. So here tell me, one, what is the share capital? Okay, they have given share capital 1 lakh. P&L 60,000. Share capital 1 lakh. 2. P&L 60,000. Now add and calculate 80% of this. Okay, try to do it yourself. Add, calculate 80% of this. $1,60,000 into 80%. That is 1,28,000. Okay. How much you paid? 1,40,000. How much you received? 1,20,000. 28,000. So you paid more. If you have paid more, you lost the bet. You lost some money in this. Okay. So 12,000. Can I say this is goodwill? Goodwill is 12,000. Okay, now calculation of minority interest. I'll show you by simple calculations. So you copied this calculation of cost of control. Now we'll go to minority interest. Calculation of minority interest. So I'll write particulars. I'll write on 1/1/2017. On 31/12/2017. 17 or 16? Is it 17 or 16? 16. 16 opening and closing they asked. Okay. Now 1. Share capital. Okay. What is share capital? Opening 1 lakh. Closing also 1 lakh only. Correct? 2. P&L. Opening, they said, what is the opening they said? 60,000. Can you tell me what is closing? So can I write 65,000 here? Chintu will get a heart attack. Sare, how 65,000? Sare. Tell me, how 65,000 you got? Any idea? opening P&L 60,000 plus you earned 20,000 during the year, that is additions to reserve 20,000, your P&L increases, minus 15,000 you paid dividend. So opening P&L balance 60,000, during the year you earned 20,000, so it will increase, and you paid 15,000 dividends, so reserves or profit and loss will decrease, so 65,000. Total net assets, total net assets of subsidiary 1,60,000, 1,65,000. In this 80% belongs to holding company, 20% is minority interest. So minority share, what is minority share? 20%, 5. Therefore minority interest, calculate 1,60,000 into 20%, is it 32,000? I think it should be 33,000. Okay, check the calculations once. 165 into 20% is 33, correct. That's all. So is this clear? So what is this? This is our problem number 2 from ICI study material. So we have done accounting for dividend received out of post acquisition profits, bank account debit to P&L. This is net entry. We have passed 2 entries. Then on the date of acquisition, we have calculated goodwill or capital reserve, and minority interest we calculated on the beginning date and on the ending date. This is problem number 2. So shall we do problem number 3 now? Okay, shall we go to problem number 3? It is little lengthier. Let us see that now.